Dallas, a witness in the Amber Guyger murder trial was actually gunned down at an apartment complex in Dallas. Guyger, of course, is the former Dallas police officer who shot and killed Botham Jean as he was watching TV in his own apartment. Joshua Brown, the man you see there in the green shirt, he lived across the hall from Jean. He was a key witness in Guyger's conviction. Well, investigators say the 27-year-old Brown was found last night in a parking lot, shot several times. Witnesses reported hearing multiple gunshots and seeing a silver four-door sedan leaving the
Dallas police say Joshua Brown was murdered during a drug deal and that he, Brown, fired the first shots. Good evening, I'm Steve Egan.
I'm Heather Hayes. Joshua Brown was a witness for the prosecution in the Amber Guyger murder trial. His murder led to speculation and rumor that it was somehow connected to his testimony. Today, police described a very different set of circumstances, a drug transaction and a shootout with 3 suspects who drove from Louisiana. Police say 2 of those suspects are now fugitives.
A drug deal that went bad is how the arrest warrant affidavit describes what happened. Dallas Assistant Chief of Police Avery Moore says 3 men were involved Friday night at Atera Apartments where Joshua Brown was murdered. And he says one of the 3 says he was shot by Brown, told police everything.
All 3 suspects came from Alexandria, Louisiana, to purchase drugs from Joshua Brown.
Assistant Chief Avery Moore identified the 3 suspects as Michael Mitchell, 32 years old, his nephew, Jacarius Mitchell, 19, and 20-year-old Thaddeus Green. It was Green, Chief Moore says, who set up the dope deal with Joshua Brown and who got out of the vehicle first when the trio arrived at 4606 Cedar Springs Road, Green exchanging words with Joshua Brown before it escalated.
At which time, Jacarius Mitchell gets out of the vehicle and he states that Joshua Brown orders him back into the vehicle and shoots him in the chest. As he's laying in the vehicle, he hears 2 more gunshots. He says that Thaddeus Green shot Joshua Brown 2 times.
Thaddeus Green, the chief says, took the backpack and Brown's gun after shooting him. The chief then describing where on Brown's body he was shot.
According to the autopsy report, Joshua Brown was shot 2 times in his lower body. One was a through and through, and the other entered his body just below the spine, traveled upward, damaging vital organs.
Promise Hospital, a private long-term acute care facility, is where police say Michael Mitchell took his wounded nephew, Jacarius. Patrol officers were called out, and police say had a conversation with the now fugitive accomplice. According to the arrest affidavit, Michael Mitchell told the officers they attempted to buy some weed from an unknown individual and he attempted to rob them. And the unknown suspect shot Jay Mitchell and provided officers a name of Demon Martin. Jacarius Mitchell was taken to Parkland Hospital. Michael Mitchell, claiming to be a victim, questioned but not arrested.
Yo, YouTube, what's going on? Trey back again. Hit you with a video. And I hope you all been having a very good week, having a very good morning so far. And I wish you all a very happy weekend also. We have an update to a story that I was working on last year and also some parts of this year. And a lot of revelations came out dealing with this story. The case of you have John Bodum, Bodum Jean, and also the case with the Amber Guyger situation where you have a police officer in Dallas who basically said she got out of work, wandered into the wrong apartment, and shot a man eating ice cream. And it was a whole lot of speculation, a whole lot of things blown out of proportion. But I remember one thing, and so did some of you all. They said that Bodum Jean had weed in his apartment also, even though this man was in his own apartment or whatever else. So what difference does it make if Bodum Jean allegedly had weed in his apartment? Remember they said that when he was killed. But come to find out, that wasn't even the case. So a lot of you all saying, I must give a shout out to all my subscribers, the Trey King Show family. A lot of you all said, Trey, watch. They're going to try to say this was a drug deal gone bad. And I pretty much was speculating that also, but I just didn't want to put that out there, you know, due to the nature of this situation. I just didn't want to just throw things out there. You know what I'm saying? Unless we have for facts. Yes. So anyway, I'll be damned if it did not come true. And days later, a couple of days later, right after Joshua Brown, one of the key witnesses to this Amber Guyger trial, was murdered. And basically everybody was saying that it was retaliation from the police. The police had something to do with it. I'm not saying that. All thing I'm leaving all the speculation out till all the facts have been presented. You know what I'm saying? I'm leaving all my opinions out for as that go till the facts have been presented. But, you know, it's kind of strange that right after this man testify against Amber Geiger, and then he winds up dead a couple days later. And then also the fact they tried to say that this man was a drug dealer. It wasn't no big hot time roller drug dealer, whatever. But the fact that he was a drug dealer, but I remember, because I have a pretty good memory, some of you all also, where they said that this man was a business owner, that he was a businessman, he owned a business, and he didn't have no criminal record. Now come to find out, they said he has all kinds of criminal records and that he'd been in trouble with the law. And I'm like, well, why did none of this come out before? Why wait till after the trial he gets murdered and then we find out all this? Because September last year when we first heard the story with the Amber Geiger situation with Bodum Jean, we never heard of the witness having a criminal record. And then also, what guy with a criminal record wears a Dragon Ball Z shirt with sweatpants like he didn't even want to come to court? I don't think he even wanted to testify. And this man broke down on the stand. So you mean to tell me this guy around here could be under surveillance or whatever? And if he was doing all that, so you mean to tell me from last year all the way up until the time that he was murdered, almost a year exact, that the police did not witness him selling drugs, did not see him selling drugs? We just going on somebody else speculation that allegedly drove. Now, what they said happened was you had 3 guys drove from Alexandria, Louisiana, and killed this man in his parking lot. Basically shot him twice in the chest. They said the lower body, but some people said that he was also shot in the mouth, and that was a sign for him, you know, a sign for everybody else to shut up and whatnot. So there's a lot of speculation going on. And 2 of those 3 people, those suspects, were caught. The Mitchell brothers, something like that, and the other guy, Thaddeus Green, whoever this person is, they say he's still at large. But I'm going to let you all do the math, and I just want to, you know, read a little snippet real quick and just pretty much shine some light to this situation, because a lot of this stuff still don't make sense. But I'm wondering, and a lot of you all also, how can a guy that's been a part of this case for the last year, you don't never say this guy have a criminal record? Because usually they'll try to, you know what I'm saying, bash the person, or they try to discredit the person. So this guy would never discredit in a court of law, but he was discredited in what? The court of public opinion, which is more powerful evidently than the law. So you have 2 things that change people and change laws. You have the perception, and then you have the media. You see what I'm saying? You have the courthouse, the perception of the case. And then you also have the media, which make you believe anything. And I'm not trying to say you should believe this or believe that. All I'm saying is just use your better judgment. I'm going to read a snippet from this story, and I'm going to give my opinion. Surely, as we go. Geiger trial witness had extensive criminal record. And this right here is right off the New York Post. Yes. He said this man had a very extensive criminal record. So why did you all let him get up there and testify and all this if you knew he was pushing it to the limit, allegedly? You know, because dead man's tell don't tell. And this is a sad shame that this man is not even here to defend himself. But remember, he was brought into this case unwillingly. He did not even want to testify. And that's also been kind of hidden. And also another thing I want to point out is this. Why is everyone trying to say, well, Bodum Jean wasn't armed? It don't matter if Bodum Jean was armed or not in his own apartment. He can legally own a firearm the last time I checked. You see what I'm saying? So whether he was sitting on the couch eating ice cream with an AK in his hand, as long as he wasn't shooting through the ceiling, shooting out the window, shooting at people, he could have had 10 guns in his apartment. So I don't understand why people go on that. You have to use your mind, people. And they said Joshua Brown, the Dallas man gunned down 10 days after taking a stand in a high-profile Amber Geiger trial, had an extensive criminal history, according to the news report. And all this came out after the man was dead. But for a whole year, they had a chance to tell the public and discredit this witness, Joshua Brown, may he rest in peace, if it was all true. And I'm not saying that it's not true, but how convenient to say it was true after he's dead and that he's such a bad person. But before then, he didn't have a criminal record. He's a business owner. He's a working man. So which one is it? That's what I want to know. But anyway, legal documents obtained by the news station revealed that Brown himself was no stranger to law enforcement and was arrested in at least 5 different cities across Texas when the man is from Jacksonville, Florida, moved to Texas in 2008. So he did a lot of running from the police. So how was he a business owner? And the newspaper said this, not me, because I don't speculate. I don't have to clickbait. I don't have to lie for a story. So how can the newspaper say that he was a business owner and he moved from Florida and he's been doing pretty good? So if he was doing all this drug dealing and all this, why wasn't he arrested for drugs in Dallas then? He was busted for drug possession, evading arrest, theft, and having an illegal firearm, the documents reveal. You can get busted for drug possession because they also have a video of him on Facebook smoking like some good weed, like some not a good weed. But anyway, had a picture, I mean, not a picture, a video of him smoking some weed. So you can smoke a joint or whatever else and get drug possession, but that don't mean that you was distributing drugs. It wasn't like it was bagged up in grams and everything else with the little scales and stuff. You know what I'm talking about, the little zippies and stuff. So I don't understand what kind of drug dealer just get arrested for possession of drugs instead of distribution of drugs. Now, Brown was 28 years old, too young to be caught up in some bullshit, was shot dead Friday in what cops are calling a botched drug deal, rejecting any suspicion that the slam was related to the testimony. And people still believe that it was what? Related to the testimony, because it's quite convenient that this man lived all that time. And they said that he was a target of another shooting where a person was killed, and he had to go testify on this other person in November. I think the late part of November or December, where there was at some kind of club or bar or something, and somebody had got killed, and they said that he was an intended target and he was going to go testify. And they said all this was because of that. But it's funny that none of this come out until after the man was dead. But anyway, more than 2 years earlier, from January the 4th, 2017 to February 17 of 2017, he served time in state jail for a drug possession conviction in Leon County, the station reported. And now they done digged up every damn thing on Joshua Brown, if it's true, because let me tell you something. It ain't have to be true. They only got one thing to do. That's sit down at a computer, that database, type it in, and it becomes true. It's no more than somebody sitting up here making a post about somebody lying on them. Not saying that they're necessarily lying, but just like you can make a post about what 50 Cent, Mariah Carey, and say they gone to the moon and they not even at the damn moon. You see what I'm saying? It only takes that. You just need a reference. But anyway, during that time, he sent a letter to a judge pleading that he be allowed to serve 2 different sentences concurrently so he could be released earlier, according to the report. But I thought y'all said that this man was a business owner, moved from Jacksonville, Florida 11 years ago, never got in trouble. All of a sudden, he been in trouble. He been in jail all across damn Texas. I mean, like, what's really going on? And they also says, this is what he says, Mr. Brown, may he rest in peace, when he was writing a judge pleading for an early release back in 2017. He said, I am praying when that day comes and I am discharged that I can put the whole series of events behind me and start off on a new clean path. The letter said, and who the hell kept that letter from 2.5, almost 3 years ago? You mean to tell me you kept that letter? Wow. So the judge kept the letter on file. Really? Okay. But why did none of this come out when this man was in trial? Why didn't the prosecution cross-examine him and bring all this to the light, where they could have discredited Mr. Joshua Brown? Instead of letting all this go under the rug, if it's true, the man wound up dead murder, and what people believe was retaliation for his testimony against Amber Geiger, and then all of a sudden, he's such a bad damn person. The coldest thing that walked this earth since Satan himself. After he was released, he was shot last year at a strip club in North Dallas, so it was a strip club. Stay your ass out these damn strip clubs, because either you're going to catch disease or you're going to catch a bullet. Anyway, according to the report, a man with Brown was killed, but authorities believe Brown was the target, according to court records obtained by the station. So the police believe Brown was the target and that he'd been having people after him, because you know you got to build it up that way. Not saying it's not true. I'm just trying to get you to think, because I'm not one of these people sit up here and try to get you to think one way. If somebody's trying to get you to think one way, you need to question that person and question their motives and see and try to understand why they're trying to just get you to think one way. I want everything to be presented. That's why I'm talking about it in this way. That's why I'm also including the other suspects, trying to tie all this into it. But at the same time, it is quite strange and beneficial to certain people that this evidence, alleged evidence, would get suppressed while this man was in one of the biggest high-profile cases of this year, if not the biggest, dealing with a police walking into somebody's house and killing them, had everybody terrified. And you mean to tell me the star witness, he gets murdered a couple of days later, and then it's a botched drug deal going wrong when everybody say, watch, they're going to put it on some black people. And that's what they done. Not saying it's not true. I'm just leaving all speculation out until all facts are presented, if you will. But anyway, now they say the Friday shootout happened. Now it's a shootout now. Happened in the parking lot of an apartment complex about 5 miles from where Geiger fatally shot 26-year-old Bodum Jean last year. Now, I thought it was at the same apartment complex where Joshua Brown was killed. What's that, Southside Flats in Dallas? I thought that's where it was, but no, that's not. He had moved before then and moved like 5 miles to an apartment complex called Altera, something like that. But you all know what I'm talking about. That's where he was killed at. So you mean to tell me that this guy was in one of the biggest case plastered all over the news in the world, and you have some 3 young guys who, even though they look old in the face, 3 guys come from Louisiana, go to Texas, and rob and try to kill a guy who was all over the news and everything? And where was all the police surveillance at? You mean to tell me this guy didn't have nobody monitoring him? Where are the private investigators at that capture these people doing things, those people who are involved in certain cases, so that way you can discredit them? And they also says that Amber Geiger they already appealed this situation. So don't look for her to do 10 years. Look for her probably do a year or two, they're going to let her out due to the nature of this situation. Because why was the other person, because you had 3 people, I think. I thought it was 2, but it was 3. You had Joshua, you had this woman named Bunny, who they say is still in hiding, and also this other guy. I can't think of his name. But why? I understand Bunny because she don't really want to testify, but the other guy, the other black guy, why wasn't he allowed to testify also? Why didn't they let him get on the stand? I don't know why. But anyway, let's go and finish up. Now, they says also that Michael Mitchell, who's 32 years old, a 20-year-old relative named Jaquarius Mitchell, and Thaddeus Green, 22, all came from Louisiana to buy drugs from Brown. Chief Avery Moore of the Dallas Police Department's Criminal Investigation Unit said earlier this week. How convenient. And I remember, I thought it was very odd that Joshua Brown himself would be on Facebook smoking a blunt. So I'm thinking, like, when I'm watching this video, and I think it was like a day or 2 before he died, I'm watching the video, I'm like, what is really going on? Why are they even showing this? But him smoking a blunt don't mean he was a drug dealer also. So let's just keep it real. Now, I don't know if they took that video of him smoking that blunt and tied it into drugs, or was he really into drugs? All I'm saying is this: how beneficial for the prosecution to sit up here and bring all this out when the picture was painted this man didn't have no criminal record. That's what they were saying. I got the evidence. Some of you all should have it also. I did videos about it, and also said that he was a business owner. So either he was a business owner, a hard-working man, or was he a drug dealer that had been locked up all across Texas and everywhere else and begging judges to let him out? Let me know what you all think about this, because it's a damn shame is that the fact that a lot of you all said, and I'm sitting back and just looking, I'm like, well, wow, you know, let's see if it come true. And I'll be damned, show a shit stain, it did come true. But if you want to believe that you have 3 other people who come from a whole other state and kill somebody who was in one of the biggest court cases in America in recent years, next to the damn OJ situation, robbed this man, that they got the car, one of them had a fight with him because it was a drug deal going bad now. The guy Joshua shoots one of the guy kills him, and they rob him and took drugs and everything else. But notice they kept tying the drugs in there, saying they took 12 pounds of marijuana, 149 grams of THC cartridges, and $4,157 in cash from Brown's apartment after executing a search warrant. So you mean to tell me these people go to meet Joshua? Well, why didn't they wait till Joshua get in his apartment if they're going to rob and kill him? Why have an altercation out there in the parking lot? That's what I want to know right there. And if you know you coming to get drugs from somebody, they're not going to keep all their drugs what? On them. They're not going to keep all their drugs in their car and ride around in it. The drugs is going to be most likely in their apartment or another apartment. Let's just be for real. So why not wait until you get inside the apartment? You know what I'm saying? If they any kind of intelligent crooks, which they're not, and I'm not advising nobody to be, but let's just use our common sense for a while. So you mean to tell me you take whatever Joshua has on him, his backpack or whatever, shoot him dead instead of going to the apartment to get the real stash? Because if you drove all the way from Louisiana, I'm sure you can wait about another minute or 2 to walk to his apartment with him, right? So the police quite conveniently find 12 pounds of marijuana, 149 grams of THC cartridges, and $4,157 in cash. Wow. Really convenient. But anyway, I'm not here to place the blame on no one. I'm leaving all that out to all facts are presented. Let me know what you all think. If you like the video, push that like button. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Definitely share this video with your family and friends. And at the same time, I asked the question, I said, if you see anything, will you be willing to testify if your life was on the line? You know, if you knew that it would cost you your life, would you testify? A lot of people said yes, some said no. But it's like this. We're all going to die someday anyway. You know what I'm saying? Either you can stand up and tell the truth, or you can walk outside and get hit by a damn car trying to check your mail. Either way it goes, and it's your time, it's your time. But at the same time, we don't need people out here playing judge, juror, and execution, out here plotting and also making up stories. If the man was a good guy, let him die as a good guy. If the Amber Geiger trial was the reason why he got killed, let that be known. And if he was a bad guy, let that be known also. But we don't need people. That's why there's a lot of lack of trust with dealing with cops and media also, because these stories get so misconstrued. Because we heard for a whole year that this was a good guy. We heard for a whole year that this man was a business owner, that he only been in Texas 11 years. Now all of a sudden he's been locked up 5 different cities across Texas. He's such a bad guy with an extensive criminal record when they said before, out their own mouth, not me, that he did not have a criminal record. That's all I want to say. Let me know what you all think in the comment section. Till next time, you all stay safe. You all stay blessed. Stay prayed up and watch your front and your back, because you never know. You never know. But we need people to stand on the truth. And that's just what it is. That's just what it is. Anyway, y'all take care. I'm out.